really gonna get sick and tired of Eliza's bullshit with the, with the cryptic text messages. Eliza's gonna need another Weasel News intervention, probably. I need you to stop with this bullshit! It must be them. World Star in the sewers right now. Damn, Eliza's missing. Get flop, Margo. Have you been?
You know, I've been alright. Not too bad. What about you?
You know, life has its ups and its downs. Truly not too much to complain about, though.
Yeah, I guess if you look at it a certain way.
I'm glad you brought that up. You know, perspective, looking at things in different ways. To some degree, I owe you an apology.
About what?
About a week ago, I was under the impression that you and some other people were acting in bad faith and were potentially involved in the passing of a very good friend of mine. I was working on incomplete information and I reacted out of senseless emotion. And that's not fair to you. I've also, based off of, again, incomplete knowledge and an unfortunate base paranoia that is a habit of mine, led to be under the impression that you and some people that you may or may not be associated with were, looking to use me as cannon fodder. As target practice, as... I don't know. Harvestable materials, for lack of a better phrase. I was scared, I was angry. It started with that. I'll admit, I don't know what happened 100% that day. I remember being dragged out of my mind, and I remember feeling like shit for the next couple of days, which I don't blame you entirely for, and it would not be fair of me to lay the blame entirely on you. I mean, you're not a medical doctor, so...
Well, not legally.
Not legally. I'll admit, after that, I was under the impression that, that you all were trying to kill me. Which I realize may or may not be the case because I did not properly give you space to speak yourself, and I realize I could be putting you in a position where you... Heck, you could either be lying or telling the truth right now, and I don't even know. But I have to stop doing the thing that I hate, which is passing immediate base judgment on others. It's not what I should be standing for. Seeing things from other people's perspectives, even if they make me uncomfortable, is very important to me. It was the eye thing. It's very passing. It's threatening messages that myself, other members have been getting, and messages being left at the Epsilon Center, and I'll be perfectly honest, I don't know who they're coming from, but...
What kind of messages?
Got one that said eye for an eye. Got a message that said, was it worth it? Got one that was a cipher, but I'll be perfectly honest, I'm not smart with that kind of stuff. One that was, don't play with fire. You and your loved ones will get burned. It was a handful of them.
The cipher came from the Whisperer?
I legitimately am not sure. And I promise I'm not being coy. I legitimately do not know, because I know there's, what is it, the Whisper ciphers, the FIB ciphers, and then the Greek god ciphers? Margo, I don't even know what's going on with all of these ciphers, and I'll be honest. As much as I pretend to be someone who's a fan of intellectual pursuits, I can't wrap my mind around this stuff. I'm just trying to give away free plushies, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I know what you mean. Yeah, well, and depending on how long ago you got your most recent cipher, it's not something you gotta worry about anymore anyway. Kind of.
You know what? I'll be candid. I think I know what you're referencing. It probably wasn't from the Whisperer.
Oh.
Probably.
You got a whole other can of worms.
Don't we all?
Yeah.
Admittedly. I promise I'll stop yapping and give you an opportunity to speak. I was also frustrated because I've been hearing from multiple people that you have been saying that we're trying to get people for sacrifices, that we were trying to hunt you down, that we were making threats against Sonia. It's the last fucking thing I want to do. There's no... I don't even want to touch that. And instead of... Yep. And instead of coming to you directly and asking, I... like I mentioned before, switch straight to anger, and that is, regardless of whether or not it's true, it's not fair. So, those are my incomplete, rambling thoughts on that, because I've spent the past week and a half terrified that either you or someone else was gonna come and finish the job. I'm a coward at heart, Margo, and I think that is probably very plainly clear. And I'm trying to fix that. And if you respect me less or whatever because of that, I don't blame you.
I don't think you're a coward, actually. Because if you were scared, then you yelled at me pretty good that one time, and then it sounded made me kind of scared. So you were. I don't think you were a coward. I don't think you're a coward. 'Cause I've seen them, and I know what cowards look like.
Hmm.
And I don't know who was telling you all that stuff about what I had supposedly said or whatever. And I get it. People don't usually believe old Margo.
Mm.
And I take the blame for a lot of stuff. Sometimes it's true, and sometimes it's not true. And at the end of the day, I know it's real. And the people in my ears know it's real. And I always have them, and I always have me. But I only want to help you, Eliza. And I'm sorry. It seems like you got wrapped up into some pretty life-changing shit. And I don't really know how to help you, but I hope you're gonna be okay.
It's, admittedly not my first rodeo. Not that it's an excuse, but due to forces outside of my control, I've been branded as a snitch before, and simply because of the whispers that were flowing around me, okay, not literal whisper, you know, but yappers, I suppose. I was worried I was falling into the same pit, and listen, I may not agree with the whole organ harvesting thing, but like I mentioned before, I'm not gonna pretend I know everything. Everyone has their reasons for doing things. And I'm not expecting this to, you know, How do I phrase this? Does anything I've been saying make sense, or does it feel as though I'm just throwing a bunch of stuff at you and you're like, where the fuck is any of this coming from?
Some of it makes sense. It makes a lot more sense than it did the other day when we talked to each other. Because I get confused real easy, but I was more confused than I've been in a long time that day. And also, I was really worried about you.
I appreciate that. You know, I had some misgivings. Because I wasn't 100% sure how you were involved with some of the things that were going on, but I didn't know what your relationship with 8th K was. I didn't know how close you were to him, but I felt, regardless, you deserve to know what happened. And I'm sorry if this is tough to hear, but it kind of eat at me if I didn't say it. I arranged for someone to leave a cassette tape of evidence of what happened to him. I had a place for you to pick up. I don't know if you ever got it. I don't even know where they left it.
I saw it.
I'm really sorry.
Who recorded it?
That I wish I knew. Someone had left a copy of it on the steps of the Epsilon Center with a note that said, "Watch your step." No idea what the fuck that is supposed to mean. like you said, somehow we swam in the wrong creek that led us out into an ocean instead of a small lake.
Why Epsilon?
That's what I'm asking. I wish I knew. Honestly, it might be a sins of the fathers thing. It might be associated with a branch that might still be active that I frankly don't know anything about. And that... it's kind of scary to me.
Did you ever share anything with the Whisperer?
How much do you know?
Well, more than everybody thought I knew.
Then I won't pry too much if it's not comfortable for you to share.
I don't know if I don't think I should talk about it.
That's okay. I won't pry too much. I'll admit, when I spoke to Dr. Wilde, he had mentioned the Whisperer once or twice. And he mentioned that the Whisperer had spoken to Randall. And I think that's what... I kind of feel guilty about what happened to Randy, because I wasn't there for him when apparently the Whisperer did some shit to him. That's not entirely clear to me, but I guess the only information that I shared was I found like a manila folder at the FIB. At first I thought it was like a shitpost in a way. It was this is gonna sound insane. It was a manila folder about Operation Osama bin Laden. And it showed how bin Laden had bunkers in all of the 24/7s around Los Santos. I remember showing that to Randy. And I remember showing it to Dr. Wilde. So I was trying to figure out what that was all about. Because there are these rumors about, you know, some kind of nuclear holocaust. As crazy as that sounds. Some kind of nuclear holocaust coming to Los Santos. And I don't know. You ever have that moment where enough random people start sharing the same rumors? And you wonder, this has to have a grounding for something? So I just wanted to know if the bunkers were real, honestly. And remember when I shared it with Dr. Wilde, he said he would show it to the Whisperer, and that was essentially the last time I heard from him.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know nothing about no bunkers or no nuclear anything. I never heard of that before. But
Neither of us have, as far as this conversation is concerned.
No, I don't know what that means.
That's okay, Margo.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Neither of us do. It's okay.
Okay.
To fully answer your question, as far as I know, I think people think that we're packed with more juice than what we actually have. And if Epsilon has more juice, they sure as fuck have left me out to dry in regards to it. I don't want any trouble. I really don't. I've had enough of it in Vice City. And I realize I'm causing more of it by lashing out at the people that I should be, you know. Showing more trust and kindness, too. And for that, it can't be overstated, Margo. I was really unfair to you. Am I a little annoyed at how, like, my eye got fucked up? Yeah. Yeah, just a little annoyed, but, you know. Medical system in Los Santos actually is pretty good, so I was able to, you know, get them replaced pretty easily. Not that I'm eager to let him go again anytime soon, but yeah, I've basically been blabbing at you ad nauseum. I don't know how else to express it, but I just want to. I want to make sure we're cool, and if we're not, what can I do to fix it?
No, we're okay. Because I understand. People usually don't think I understand stuff, but I get it. I understand. I know where it's coming from. And I don't know what's gonna happen to you, Eliza. And I don't know who's gonna do what to who. And I just know that we gotta just do our best. And make up with the people it does matter with, so...
It's, before I joined the Epsilon program, can't remember if I yapped at you about this before, but I, had a really, really bad drug problem. If you think I'm a, you know, little bit obnoxious now, I was a real shithead before. And I've been allowing some of those old habits to come to bear, so... I can't promise I won't be a dick again if I ever, you know, kind of have a relapse moment, but... Feel free to tell me to fuck off and check myself. Especially if I'm wrong. Hell, regardless of whether I'm wrong or not.
I don't want you to do that. I know what it's like not to have closure and to be in the dark. And to be scared and to be untrusted and untrusting, and I know what it's like.
I'll be honest.
Have yourself...
Oh, go ahead, sorry.
No, that was it.
I have some atoning to do with that too, because I've, not a lot of people, because I'm, you know, more discreet than that, but I've told a couple of people, specifically people I'm close to, that I was very wary of you. You and Randy specifically, and, I let them know that we were going to be having this conversation. And that I realized that perhaps my opinions and perspectives were warped, so I appreciate you for giving me the time and space to reach a better understanding. I imagine you probably have more exciting and interesting things to be doing.
No, I've kind of been hoping that you were still alive and still willing to talk to me. So, this is good.
That brings me great comfort to hear. That is, that is very refreshing, I will say.
Well, you helped me through one of my darkest moments before, and I'll never forget about that. And, like I said, I know how it is.
That's deeply unfortunate because... I always complain about people leaning into gossip and not following up on things of their, you know, for themselves to make sure whether or not it's true. Only to be a bit of a perpetrator of that myself. It makes me a little sad to hear that you experience that a lot. It's not fair.
It brings me a little bit of comfort when I know that sometimes people just need a reason or somebody to put it on. And it's okay if it's on me, because then they feel better and they can move on.
That's really not fair to you, though, Margo. It really isn't. And I'm not going to sit here and pretend that me apologizing and trying to explain myself excuses what I did, because it doesn't. Right?
Well, something does, and like you said, everybody's got their reasons.
You don't have to answer this if you're not comfortable. Are you safe? Like, I don't know how to phrase this.
I'm just as safe as everybody else in this city is.
Well, I suppose that's some small comfort, I guess. I'm not going to make any guesses as to how much you were caught up in this tempest that's been blowing around. And it seems as though strays, innocents, and guilty parties are all being treated with an equal measure of intensity. Regardless of what category you were in, I'd hate to see anything bad happen to you.
I'd hate to see bad stuff stop happening to me, because that means that a bigger change is coming.
Oh?
You know, to some degree, I kind of want the bad stuff to stop happening to me, but I'd be suspicious if it did.
Kind of like that's your established normal, so if that changes, it's like, oh no.
Something like that, yeah.
If you need to take care of other business, I don't intend to hold you hostage with this conversation for too long.
Oh, well, he said it's an emergency.
Oh, of course.
You're not holding me hostage at all, like
Well,
I
if it's
said,
an emergency, you should take care of that.
Yeah, but I just still want you to know. Like I said, I'm glad we got to have this talk.
Absolutely. Legitimately, this is gonna sound so trite, and I'll make this very short. I'll make this brief. The reason I was so mad is because you were genuinely one of the very few people, still are one of the very few people that have spoken to me on a human level, and the people who have been doing that have been kind of dropping like flies. a little bit. So, you take care of yourself, okay?
Yeah, you too.
And I know I'm not exactly a fount of, you know, resources or anything, but within reason, if, not even within reason, regardless of reason, if there's anything I can do to, you know, help you, let me know.
I will.
Hey, I know you have an emergency to tend to. Thanks for speaking with me. Kiflam, Margo.
Kiflam. I hope we get to do it again.
Indeed. I know! Good shit. And there's a part of me that just... It's me! It's me! Chat! Make sure that you go send a fuck ton of love to Margo. I know some people were maybe looking for something a little more spicy, but I think for Eliza, it was good to at least have that, kind of have that mellowed out conversation. Now, is Eliza still a cautious? Yeah. Eliza's a little cautious. Like a teeny tiny little bit cautious, but she's also recognizing, one of the fundamental tenets of Epsilonism is to not doubt. And Eliza's been allowing a fuck ton of doubt to enter her heart, which is not productive. Not productive at all. So I think in keeping with the character, we've got to let her challenge herself with that stuff a bit more. Ah. Sometimes I dress up as a pumpkin and yell pumpkin time. Idol was one of the people that... Who was it? Like Kenny told Eliza about. Interesting. Aliens are real. Yeah, I think Eliza clocked. Actually. Just for funsies. Yeah, right. Okay, how poetic, though, that the sun came out while they were conversing. Hello? Actually, wait, what was that with the Jordan Ackridge RIP stuff? Hello? Huh, 3 hours ago. Interesting. Interesting! Very interesting! Let's see, who else does Eliza have to... Honestly, I think she kinda hit all of the bits that she wanted to hit. Let's see, she had her convo with... she had her convo with that. She had her convo with Margo. She still has to make that one delivery, but that's fine. She hasn't gotten any approvals, probably because R.I.P. Jordan, I suppose. Jordan did try to, let's try giving Jordan another call.
This is Jordan.
Oh, hello, Jordan Kiflam. I'm
Hey,
sorry I missed your
Kiflam.
call earlier.
No, it's fine. I'm also I've lost my voice, so I was just gonna tell you that I can't approve anything right this moment. I'm probably gonna be tomorrow. I had to approve a lot of stuff for this scavenger hunt thing.
Don't even
So
worry.
I'll handle that then. But if it is if it is a emergency for your cause, I'd be happy to get another clerk to check it out.
Not an emergency by any means, and I won't ask you to overextend yourself any further. I appreciate you calling me nonetheless.
Also, I got to type my murder kitty while you were calling, I think. So I had missed calls during. I know. I know. I'm telling you, it is just one thing after another. You can't see. It's blizzarding. It's just I get stuck in the snow now. I've got a cop. Whatever. But anyway, I will double check. Just make sure that though you're safe otherwise, because there are some odd requests currently that lead me to believe that there's some violence brewing in the city, so to speak. So
I
just be careful.
appreciate the heads up. It definitely definitely some things are moving about, and I'm trying to see if I can make reconciliations where I can to at least cover my bases.
And I am a city clerk, so I don't have the same abilities as I did when I worked as reception, which, I mean, that's good for everyone, I'm sure. But if there's ever anything else I can do for you, please let me know. And I'll just shoot you a text after I'm able to get those things approved.
I appreciate that.
All
No,
right.
no rush
Take
on
care.
that. You stay safe, all right?
You
Karma is gonna
too.
swing in the other direction for you soon.
And I do actually want to text you though about the New Year's resolution because I think this is very timely for me. And I think that, it's just, I don't know. I think I was inspired. I'll put it that way.
Indeed.
All right. Well, I'll talk to you soon.
Kiflom.
All right. Keflon, bye.
Hey, Kiflom, bye. Kif motherfucking love. Alright, so who is Eliza reconciled with? Right? Reconciliation. Eliza's reconciled with Margo. Samuel Beck. She had actually she needs a little more of a conversation with Roderick, I think, because they texted a little bit yesterday. But I think Eliza needs to have more of a conversation with Roderick. Randall, if Eliza can get, some sort of conversation with him. Mm-hmm. Trying to think who else. I think those are the obvious active groups that Eliza has concerns about, I think. And I think tangential petty tiffs and taffs with people. Eliza won't necessarily concern herself with too much. Okay, so I'm not gonna lie, chat, my ADHD brain just went like, how painstaking is it to do, like, the snow stuff? Like, do you have to go bit by bit and make each asset, snowy? Or is that, like, a mod pack that already exists? Chat, how does snow happen? How do snow work? I need to know. Snow, how does it work? Is it real? Celebrities, who are they? What do they know? What are their names? Oh no, not Santa! I can't believe they fucking did that to Santa, man. Sometimes whenever I see people post, like, oh, where is it? Yeah, whenever I see people most, like, I miss him, I miss her, or I'm, like, missing, I'm like, get better aim! I just really want to make that dad joke, but I know it's so goofy.
Hello, Eliza. I just read your text message. One is Or do I own the unpleasurable pleasure?
Unpleasurable pleasure.
You're not gonna try to
wrong.
stab me again, are you?
Try to stab you? Wait, when has that ever happened?
I don't know, I probably made it up in my own head when I was just thinking about it because of all the oxy I take and how much I just... Oh.
That's okay. Well, I don't want to stress you out too much, Randall. I would love to have to talk with you in person, but if you're more comfortable over the phone or if you have other things going on, I'll make it
talk to you in person.
Right.
Of course I can do that. Where would you like to meet?
I'm currently at the Overlook at the cemetery, but I am happy to meet wherever.
I can be there in 2 minutes.
All right. No worries. Take your
I'll
time.
talk to you soon.
Kiflam. Yeah, Eliza's gonna cover her bases. Because technically she has had a reconciliation talk with Billy. So that's good. Eliza feels a little unsettled, with the way that, like, Diego and Kenny were talking about, you know, wanting to control Randy and think of ways to, you know, take advantage of his drug stuff, because she basically sees a mirror of a previous version of herself, right? So there's definitely a little extra guilt tied up in that stuff, too. Sewer rats. Yeah, I'd have to say that about, like, 85% of Eliza's conversation with Margo was 100% truthful. 15% of Eliza's conversation with Margo was an absolute fuck-off lie. As you all were probably able to easily clock. Eliza's hoping, and this is where the cynical part comes in, right? Eliza's hoping by showing some vulnerability that if they are, you know, looking to hunt Eliza down, right, and beat the shit out of her, that she'll appear as less of a threat, right? And also out of genuine, you know, genuine curiosity to see if she can get more perspective. Now, with the way that Eliza kind of played it right there with Margo, I wasn't sure how, like, analytical Eliza would be, because Eliza did just about, like, almost all of the talking, right? Like, literal trauma dumping. like actual dumping on Margo. And it'll be a little bit of a litmus test in Eliza's mind if Margo is willing to open up to Eliza more about potential details of what she does and does not know in the future. So whether or not this is strategically the right move, that remains to be seen. But I think with Eliza's thought process, It's less about... I think with the way I'm trying to play the character is right now it's less about information gathering and more about just making it so that she can move around with a little less of a target on her back. Kiflon, brother.
I would do it back, but I kind of don't have an arm anymore.
I've heard.
What can I do for you, Eliza?
Oh. Less than what you can do for me. I owe you an apology, and I'll try not to take up too much of your time. I don't want to... I imagine you're probably, rather busy.
Not so much these days.
Oh?
I'm trying to distance myself from some people.
That sounds pretty tough.
It can be. But, you know, sometimes you gotta care more about yourself than others, and how you feel. You guys taught me that.
No,
in a weird way.
Yeah?
Yeah. Like, you know, just because people don't accept me for who I am, it's like they still understand me as a person, but they want to change me. And I want to be around the people that just want to change and manipulate me, Eliza. You guys taught me self-respect, and I thank you for that.
How do you feel?
What can I do for you today?
Oh, sorry, you don't have to answer this question, because it is a little heavy, especially starting off the conversation, but how do you feel like you've been manipulated? Is it because of...
So, when we first met, Eliza, I was just a hobo. I was a bum, right? I had so much. I had my world, I had the world in front of me. The world is your oyster and all that. You know what my world turned into? It is a crack-fueled, organ-removing rampage. That's what I've turned into, Eliza. I've become the monster that once scared. And I'm starting to realize maybe I don't want to be that person. But sometimes it happens. But enough about me. What do I owe the pleasure for, Eliza?
Well, I'm terribly sorry to say that I am going to have to shine the spotlight back on you. In a moment of doubt, I will admit it's doubt. I spoke unfairly and unkindly to you. That was cruel. I was mean-spirited and I was cruel, and you did not deserve that. I was under the impression at the time that you were potentially involved with what happened to Barry. And in a moment of anger, completely forgetting everything that, I try to remind myself about getting other perspectives and thinking of people charitably. I functioned off of incomplete information and lashed out. I don't think I even gave you space to even tell me why you had called me on that day. I was angry because I
Well-
thought you did something, and I was angry because I was guilty. I was guilty because I failed you, Randy.
You didn't fail me, Eliza. You did everything you guys could. All of New Epsilon. You guys did everything you could to help me. It's I who failed you guys at the end of the day.
I lost contact with you for about 2.5 weeks. And I could have tried harder to figure out what happened. I didn't
Was this when I went insane?
realize... I don't know if insane is the right word, but... definitely happened a little bit after I gave you that envelope. That's for sure.
I had nothing to do with Barry, and I don't know why he thought that. And I'm not gonna ask you. We all have our
I won't burden you
secrets,
with...
I guess.
If you want to know, I'll tell you why I thought it was.
You know what? I do want to know, actually.
He was missing things.
Oh. Yeah, that's...
Yeah.
I can see how you would connect the dots. I'm not gonna lie. You know, I stayed at the eulogy the whole time.
I
may
saw
not
you
have
on the other side of the fountain.
Yeah.
It's gonna sound
Look-
dumb, but I wasn't even mad. I wasn't mad at you. I was scared of you. I was terrified of you, and I was terrified of Margo. Because in my mind, you know, if they were willing to do that to Barry, where am I on the list to be next, you know? And that's some old paranoia catching up with me, and it's a bad hyperactive imagination, paranoia, and not giving people the benefit of the doubt.
You know, sometimes giving other people the benefit of the doubt makes you doubt yourself. And I'm not saying in this instance you were right, but sometimes you do have to trust your gut. You know? And I'm so sorry about what happened to Barry. I really am. I talked to Diego about it at the eulogy, and I tried to find out what was going on, but I couldn't figure out anything. It really wasn't us, and I mourn him. I do. I really mourn him, but I don't know what else I can do anymore.
I wish I knew exactly what happened. Apparently, I was the only one on his emergency contact list. And I've tried to do some digging and poking around. And it's been almost nothing but dead ends. That doesn't mean I'm gonna stop, though.
You shouldn't stop. In your pursuit for the truth, Eliza.
A, because he deserves it. B, because I
You
need to-
deserve it as well.
Well, I need to know what to do if I have to, you know, protect you all. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do.
I'm not gonna pretend that I'm a great, you know, great when it comes to physical defense or, you know, taking offensive, but knowledge is power. Knowing is half the battle, as the phrase goes.
I've never heard that one before, but that is
Mm.
is interesting.
Can't recall where it comes from, but it's, there's knowing and then there's knowing what to do with that knowledge.
Hmm. So where does this leave us, Eliza?
What do you mean?
Like, it takes a lot. It takes a lot for someone to do, like, to break, like you did. And you broke, Eliza. I watched it happen right before me. Occasionally I saw you just scurrying around town, and I was like, is that Eliza? I didn't think that's Eliza. And then got a little closer look, and I could see your face tattooed. And you wouldn't say hello, and you would kind of run away sometimes when you saw me. And I thought that we'd never be, like, close again. So where does this leave us? It took a lot from you, what happened to Barry, but I know I wasn't involved, but I know it's a lot to get over as well. It's hard when you lose someone you really care about. And when things get twisted and pulled in different directions, the truth gets muddied.
Mm.
It can take a toll on people, even after the fact.
Yeah, I don't know how much you know about what's been going on, but it was stuff that was happening before Barry and stuff that's been happening after. You're not wrong. I was presented a challenge of my own, and I don't think I'm lucky I failed that challenge and I'm still here, if that makes sense.
Yes and no.
People have been sending strange text messages, leaving bizarre notes at the center, either vague random ciphers or direct threats. And I don't know what happened. Don't know who misstepped where, or if I happened to cross someone the wrong way, or if someone is still, I don't know, doing things with the old Epsilon. That's, yeah. I'll admit, I let the worst aspects of myself get the best of me, and doubt and paranoia take over. It's a force of habit from how I was in the old days back in Vice City, and don't want this to be about me, but you...
It is about you, Eliza.
You did not deserve the way that I spoke to you, though. And I know that a simple apology is not sufficient, nor am I going to expect, you know, expect any forgiveness for it. But I do hope it can forge some sort of path.
When Margo called me and said that something along the lines of I don't know if he threatened her over the phone or what, but she told me that I should be worried about you and to call you. That's why I called you that day.
Mm.
And you know, hung up on me and said what you said. I wasn't angry. I was worried about you. Alright? Like, you worried about me. So, you don't need to apologize. Because I can see how you would think what you think. I may be oxied up to my eyeballs, but my brain still works most of the time. I've been in your same shoes. The paranoia, the doubt, and gloom lurking behind each corner, ready to get you. I've been there. I can relate to that. You don't owe me anything.
Hmm.
It's a rough world we live in.
That is too true.
The city of sin doesn't make it any easier.
I suppose not. Are you safe right now?
Like at this very moment.
I guess in general.
Weirdly enough, I might be the safest I've ever been.
Well, that's a comfort. That's good.
We've gone from being the chased to the chasee, and I, for the life of me, don't know how it happened. The people that once terrified me are now the people that I look up to sometimes.
Hmm.
The city changed me, Kalia. Oh my god. this city changed me, Eliza. Oh my god.
Mm.
Oh my god. This city changed me, Eliza. It really did, listen. In a way that when I got here I was scared, terrified, but and something happened along the line. Somewhere along the way. It was I can't pinpoint when, and I can't pinpoint where. Hell, it might have been the lobotomy. But at some point, the people who terrified me actually took me in and started embracing me.
Hmm. Are these the same people that you mentioned before? You know,
Yeah, it
and-
is.
Okay. That's unfortunate.
Well, yeah, I feel like looking back on it, I needed a place to belong, and I was too naive to realize that you and Diego and Barry were trying to give me that place, and I was too caught up in my habits, my old habits, my current habits still to realize that maybe you guys provided what I needed, but instead I went towards the darker side of that.
I hope you know I'm saying this without judgment. I don't necessarily agree, nor am I gonna pretend to know everything that you all do. I don't necessarily agree with everything, but based off of what you've gone through, I won't hold it against you. I can't hold it against you. You've been dealt a fucked up rough hand.
Well, that's, you know, I couldn't quite put my finger on what it was that made me lean towards them, but maybe it was, you know, that proverb, do unto others as others do unto you.
The golden rule.
Yeah, but everything minus New Epsilon that had been done to me since I moved to Los Santos was horrendous. Horrendous. And then when I had the opportunity, I wasn't the change I wanted to see, I was the evil that had been. I was a part of the problem. And I can't, for the life of me, find my way out.
Do you think you're ready?
Ready for what?
Are you ready to get out?
It's a hard one.
Mm.
It's a hard one. Sometimes I feel like there's only one way out. I know so much, Kaylee. I did it again. I'm leaving.
I don't know what you're saying.
Oh,
You said you know too much.
like, I know too much.
That's the tricky part.
I know way too much.
Believe me, been there.
It's not. It's a hard path to walk.
Sometimes it really does take people who have truly walked the darkest paths to recognize where the light needs to be shown. It is not a perspective I would wish upon anyone, but I would not necessarily begrudge anyone who has walked that path. Because like you've mentioned, there's so many circumstances of life that one way or another, lead us to a place that we never would have thought we had gone. Sounds
You're
like
right,
you
I never
were,
thought I'd be here.
Hmm?
I never thought I'd be here,
Mm-hmm.
doing what I'm doing in Los Santos.
You don't necessarily have to answer this if you're not comfortable. Is this what you want to be doing?
You know, the part of me that was... The little kid in me that just wants to be loved says no, but the grown adult in me that wants revenge from the people that hurt me in my past says yes. Even though I can't really do it to those people, I can do it to others, and in some sick, twisted way, I feel better about myself sometimes.
Control.
You know, sometimes that's what people use. Because it's control. And they get to control the way they feel. Even if it's bad, even if they know it's bad for them. At least they're the ones in control of doing the damage.
Mm-hmm. It is an insidious cycle.
The cycle of abuse, self-abuse, it's... But it is the control that some of us seek. This night's beautiful, isn't it?
It really is. I didn't think I'd like it as much. Not a lot of snow where I'm from. This is
Me
nice.
neither, actually.
Really?
First time ever seeing it recently.
Well, at least it's not super piled up. It's just a perfect dusting.
Eliza, I'm sorry that you lost Barry, and that New Epsilon lost Barry. I really am.
Thank you. I'm sorry that you lost Barry. I'm sorry that you have been tasked to sacrifice more of yourself than many people in multiple lifetimes ever will be. I'm sorry that is a burden you must carry.
Maybe this is what Kraft intended for me, though. And then again, why would he want to cause someone pain? Every day, in and out.
Yeah.
Every day in, every day out.
may be a little... I don't know if blasphemous is the right word, but... Sometimes, especially when times get hard, I meditate on the fact that this is happening to me for a reason. Sometimes I can't help but wonder if maybe I need to stop making excuses and allowing bad things to happen simply because I think I deserve it, or I think it's some sort of predestined will. I don't think others should have to face that either. If it strengthens you, if it gives you inspiration to continue even when times get hard, incredible. Walk that path and find strength in your purpose. But whether it's some deity, predestined will, pure dumb luck, random chance, or just honestly fucking no reason at all, no one deserves to suffer. No one.
Do you believe in karma?
I do.
Maybe some people do deserve to suffer. Maybe I've done some horrible shit. And maybe this is my way of paying for it. With what's left of my soul.
When do you know that you've paid enough? How do you know when someone's overdrafted or something? Karma has overdrafted on what you owe to the universe.
I don't know if there is a way to tell. I don't know if that's how that karma works. Maybe it's just... Maybe it's just the way the cookie crumbles.
I suppose so. There's a phrase that I've been repeating to myself to try to keep myself focused. And it's partly why I reached out to you today. I also spoke with Margo very briefly. Each day shall come and go. That much is certain. Making it count? Now that is up to you. Breathe in. Now go do it.
Well.
I've wasted a lot of time the past couple of weeks being afraid. As you astutely noted, scuttling around, terrified that some version of karma was going to catch up and bite me in the butt, or someone was going to dispense their sense of what revenge or justice is against me for either real or perceived slights. And I realized that I'd lost my place. I'd lost my focus.
Really good work. What you and New Epsilon are doing, you've changed the lives of people for the better. It may not have happened with me, but I know there's people out there I know you've done. You poured your heart and your soul into this. And sometimes people aren't thankful enough. They don't realize what's there right in front of them until it's no longer there. But you've always given it your all to put others first. That's a very rare trait. So I just want to say thank you from me personally.
That's very kind of you to say. I still believe it, you know.
Yeah.
No one is beyond redemption. Now, there's certainly some individuals who have tested my perception of that. Yes. Redemption comes in different forms. Now, wherever your path takes you, I'm not going to tell you what path to take. That's your journey to tread. But if there is anything I can do to either help or make it easier, even if you don't necessarily see me as a spiritual advisor, I hope you can count on me as a friend.
I see you as a friend, Eliza. And maybe when I look back into my faith, you'll be my spiritual advisor again. But at the moment, I'm not sure where my faith lies.
That's okay. It's what's driving you forward, you know?
Yeah.
Faith shouldn't be something where all of the blame or success or whatever is laid upon. Maybe philosophy's a better way to code the way that I approach it. Because we are the only ones that can make tangible, effective change in our lives.
That is very true. It's not just gonna happen without action.
Exactly. I don't mean to weaken this phrase by repeating it, but... Randy, I really am sorry.
I forgive you, Eliza.
Thank you. I hope you know I don't expect it, though.
Well,
One thing to apologize, another to show it. Like you said, taking action.
if I were in your shoes, I would have done the same thing. I'm gonna just be real. I feel like I really would have. And for you to blame me or Margo or Sonia, whoever you blamed, it's not a crazy thought.
Not just the yelling,
But-
though. Not
Hmm?
doing more to check on you. I didn't realize all of this had happened to you. Not gonna lie, for a while I thought you simply just didn't want to talk to us anymore. I should say didn't want to talk to me anymore.
No, it's not. It really isn't that. It was never that.
It's a little more clear to me now, and here's the thing, even if that was the case, that's an ego thing of mine. If I would have realized that you were... Did you give those up willingly? I hope that's not too aggressive of a question.
No.
Hmm.
Well, the arm's debatable, actually. We got... The arm was a... whole thing. My arm got sold for $50,000 to Sonia, and then bought back for a bit more, like an hour later, and the doctors managed to reattach it. Then I went batshit crazy, insane. I don't know what happened, but apparently I lobotomized, and it didn't really work. But I lost my eye in the process. Then I got shot in the liver, no, in the kidney, sorry. By Sonia again. And they had to remove my kidney. And then me and some friends got really, really high and started talking about conspiracy theories and aliens, and that somehow led to the removal of my arm. And these are the people that I consider my friends. The same people that did this stuff to me. So... actually some of my closest friends as well. Define Stockholm Syndrome.
Define?
Randall Dalton. That is Stockholm Syndrome.
Hmm. Hmm. What a pickle.
Hmm.
You know what? I have another question. You can feel free to ignore this because this might be a little more sensitive based off of what's been happening. Final conversation I had with Dr. Wilde. He had mentioned that he instructed you to act crazy. Is that true?
That name rings a bell. I don't know why.
Oh. Oh.
The name seems so familiar.
He was a doctor I was starting to get pretty close to before he passed away. He was murdered, actually.
Huh. Oh my god. I'm so sorry to hear that.
You don't have to apologize. It's, admittedly, for a while, I was worried you were going to meet the same fate, but... I had received a letter from some anonymous person or group. I still haven't been able to figure it out. That told me what happened to him. And well, partially what happened to him and charged me to try to figure out the rest of the puzzle. How he died. Why he died. One of the last conversations that we had before this whole mess happened. Do you remember talking about ciphers? Or word puzzles at the FIB?
Yes, actually. Vaguely.
Mm.
Now that you say something about it.
We were in front of a paywall or Bob Mullet. I can't remember which. Or Bob Moulet. At the time you were helping parse apart some of these ciphers. That's another reason I feel guilty. I feel like that ended up being a rabbit hole that I was not prepared to go down. None of us were. I don't know to what degree. Oh. Are we both getting phone calls?
Maybe.
Oh.
Yes, I just hung up on mine.
Okay.
So, Rusty.
Alright, 1 second. I just met Rusty a little earlier. If it's an emergency, you can go ahead and give him a call.
No,
back
no,
if
no, it's
needed.
fine. That was a
Timing is kind
wow.
of upsetting. Um. I don't know how much you remember. Nor am I going to put you in a position to ask you to try to remember. But there were ciphers apparently being found at the FIB building. Other ciphers being spread around by someone by the name of the Whisperer, to whom Dr. Wilde seemed to have been connected. And at the time, it seemed like all of these rumors about, alien lizard people were connected with other rumors about bunkers and nuclear bombs and stuff like that. I don't know.
Aliens are definitely real.
Yeah, found that to be startlingly true. I don't know to what degree whatever happened to Dr. Wilde was connected to. Because I remember you and I met up at that bike station up in Sandy, Polito. And we had that conversation. Because you were trying to hide. And you were scared for your life. And it was a couple days before what happened to Dr. Wilde had happened.
The lizard people are out to get me.
Are you safe right now?
According to Margo, no, but I feel like Margo gets loopier every day. Don't tell her I said that, she'll kill me.
I won't, don't worry. I think that's maybe Margo's way of giving a bit of a warning because, she's smarter than people give her credit for. And even if she says things that may be a little... sometimes may seem a little nonsensical, they started to see now that to some degree or another they seem to be grounded in some sort of fact.
Yeah, so I've heard. So I have heard.
What is your path forward now?
I have a job. Sort of.
Really?
Yeah, I guess would be considered a job. I supply a place called the Rainforest with painkillers, which they sell to the public.
Ah. The rainforest. Gorillas?
Yeah.
Mm.
Technically legal. After the fact. Just don't get caught making the painkillers and you're good.
You know
He's
what?
okay.
Yeah, the timing of you mentioning that is actually quite funny. What is it? You need to distill moonshine for him, right?
Yeah.
Learned about that a little bit before we met here. Not that I plan on
Now-
getting in the business, I just heard it tangentially.
Hey, I'm just gonna give you a little bit of word of advice here. If you do want to get into the business, moonshine is legal in Blaine County.
That's right. Huh.
See that little loophole there?
There we go.
But as for my real path forward, I'm not sure. I'm really not sure. I feel like once upon a time, I had an idea of what I wanted. So much has changed, I've changed. Now, what I once wanted isn't what I now want. I don't know what I now want.